Hello everyone, it's Adam A Comedy and Tech. Today I'm doing a review of Sylvania brand glass LED light bulbs. These are frosted 60 watt equivalents. Now, I feel like my YouTube channel is becoming a household products review channel, and I did not plan on doing a review of these when I first bought them. But I noticed something very weird about them that prompted me to make this. You'll see what I'm talking about later in the video. For some background info, I was at Wal-Mart looking for some more light bulbs to complete my home's transition to energy-efficient bulbs like LEDs. I was planning on getting some more Great Value, which is Wal-Mart's store brand, frosted 60 watt equivalent glass LEDs, which I reviewed in a previous video. But I noticed they had Sylvania brand glass LEDs that looked similar but were cheaper. The Wal-Mart ones were $9.97 for a 4-pack, while the Sylvanias were $6.84. I decided to get the Sylvanias since Sylvania is a well-known brand and they were cheaper. I even looked up reviews online, and while I couldn't find that specific model, other Sylvania glass LED light bulbs had decent reviews with 4 or more stars. When I got these out of the box, they looked suspiciously similar to the Walmart ones. In fact, the label on the top looks almost exactly the same. The only things that are different are the wattage. These Sylvanias are rated for 6.9 watts, while the Walmart ones are rated for 6.5 watts, and the brand name. All the other numbers on the label are exactly the same. After inspecting the bulbs closer, I noticed that the small heat sinks on the bottom were slightly different. However, I do believe that these were likely made in the same factory, and they both claim to be assembled in the USA. Another difference is that the Great Value brand bulbs are supposed to last 25,000 hours, and the Sylvanias are only supposed to last 15,000 hours. I don't really trust either of these claims though. When I turned one of these on, my first impression was positive. It looks almost exactly like a classic incandescent bulb, much like the Walmart LEDs do. They don't buzz, at least when they're at full brightness, and they don't cause any interference with my AM radio, just like the Walmart bulbs. When I waved my hand around in the air, I observed a slight 120 Hz flicker that appeared to be more noticeable than the Walmart bulbs. I took some photos, and sure enough, they do flicker more. I put one of these in a bathroom fan light fixture and noticed something very weird. I turned the light on, and then turned the fan on. They are on separate switches. No problems there, but when I turned the fan off, the light bulb also turned off for a second, and then came back on. At first I thought I accidentally bumped the light switch when I turned the fan off, but I repeated the action to verify that that wasn't the case. And this wasn't just a flicker or dim. Every time I turned the fan off, the bulb would appear to go out almost completely and then come back on. I don't believe this is a wiring issue because no other light bulbs, LED, fluorescent, or incandescent, did that in that fixture. So I decided to put the Sylvania bulbs somewhere else. This time I put them in a vanity fixture in a different bathroom. It's not a fan fixture, so I wasn't expecting any problems. But I forgot it's on the same circuit as the exhaust fan for that bathroom. And sure enough, the same thing happens when I turn that fan off. Interestingly, the Walmart ones don't do that. My theory is that these bulbs have some sort of overvoltage protection circuitry that is too sensitive. When you turn a fan or other large electrical load on, there is usually a slight dip in voltage, especially on that circuit. Conversely, when you turn the fan off, there is a slight swell in voltage. While this swell is harmless and none of my other lights or electronics seem to care, I speculate that overvoltage protection circuitry cuts off power to the LEDs for a split second. Additionally, these bulbs do not function at all on touch-sensitive lamps, while the Walmart ones do. If anyone has an idea as to why this might be, please enlighten me in the comments. The bulbs claim to be dimmable and may work on regular dimmer switches, but these touch lamps are the only fixtures I have in my home that dim. I have not had any problems since moving these to a circuit that I don't believe has a fan on it. However, I do plan on returning these due to the increased flicker and overall sketchiness. So, thumbs up to the realistic incandescent appearance, high efficacy, about 120 lumens per watt, which I verified with my kilowatt meter, lack of radio interference, and no buzz when at full brightness. And thumbs down to the 120 Hz flicker, weird behavior when on the same circuit as a fan, and lack of functionality on touch-sensitive lamps. Overall, I would give these a 2 out of 5 star rating. If you're looking for glass LED light bulbs, don't buy these. Get the Walmart Great Value brand instead. So, this is an addendum to the video. I looked up the UL number that's on both the Walmart and Sylvania brand bulbs and found that they both appear to be manufactured by a company called LED Vance, which is based in Germany, is owned by a Chinese company, and I guess has offices in a factory here in the US. This raises the question, why is Sylvania, the brand name, buying and distributing the seemingly crappier bulbs while Walmart is buying the better ones? Drop a comment below if you have any ideas. Anyways, thanks for watching, and please consider subscribing for more in-depth product reviews.